Elon Musk bought Twitter. Is that what they're saying?
He's saying he's going to try to buy Twitter
Oh,
at this point. So he's going through the process of attempting to buy it. He got the money,
he
uh,
definitely got the money.
but he might have violated some terms with some of his actions this week. He might not have. I mean, when you get $1 billion, rules kind of don't apply the same anyway. So you know what I'm saying. But it might work. There are people definitely returning back to the app.
Wait. Before you go divine it,
Okay.
why? Like he's buying it for freedom of speech? Is that what he
His
said?
statement is he wants to buy Twitter for freedom of speech because he thinks, there isn't enough. Uh, he thinks there's a little bit of censorship of the right,
On
and
Twitter?
that free speech. Yeah, he thinks Twitter leans more towards the left.
Well,
That- that- that-
what can a white billionaire say except for slurs? What else?
Well, essentially, that's mainly. I mean, look, we're gonna. I'll be real. From my opinion, and we rarely give opinions on this show. In my humble opinion, some people on the right complain about people censoring them when they really I'm just ignoring you. So they kind of like they want to participate. Like they have their own app that they developed, which was kind of weird. But it's like
Yeah.
if you've been on Twitter, you can pretty much go in your bubble and find anything. Like if you're a
There's
person
porn on Twitter. What are you
exactly.
censoring?
If you're a dude that just likes feet, you can find your Twitter area and be in that spot and never see the rest of anything. So that's the thing. But people like to say, "Oh, it's cancel culture or it's PC culture," and look, and sometimes that happens. But the only people I know that've been canceled is Chrisette Michelle. That's it. Like that.
That one's stuck.
Honestly, she's the only one I know that has been canceled. And shout out to Chrisette Michelle.
Hold on. One thing about Chrisette Michelle. What's Chrisette Michelle's debut album called?
I don't know.
Exactly. So she didn't get canceled.
Look. And that's the other thing. When we talk about canceling, sometimes it's just like I'll be like, yo, did MC Hammer get canceled or did we stop listening to his music? Like sometimes it's just you not as popular as you once were. Like that's it. Sometimes it's a backlash, and popularity comes with the will of the people. Like you get popular under the will of the people, and once you get popular, the first thing people want to do is get rid of you. So that's it. Like the only person
I was like, I'm sorry, Bow Wow. We retired you. Like,
hey, look, the only person I know that is above reproach on the internet, apparently, is Beyonce. Like, and I say that full well knowing, like, please, Beehive, don't ever talk about.
I'm part of the Beehive. I went to your concert.
Man, look, I've seen Beyonce get applause just in the audience. Like it was for another event, and she just stood up, and people just started clapping. So
I had a baby christening. They're like, look at this baby. Beyonce though.
Yeah. So yeah, Elon might get Twitter. He might not. You know what I'm saying? Tesla stock dropped tremendously.
It really did.
Tesla stock dropped tremendously because he's borrowing a lot against Tesla stock, but you're borrowing against the valuation. Like I'm saying Tesla is worth this much. And here's a little secret between me and you. It's not. Like it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot. It's worth a whole lot. But a lot of companies have been giving themselves very high valuations and playing with the stock market because we got a lot of stocks that are like basically based on feelings. Like, is Uber worth a lot of money or are we saying it's worth a lot of money? Like, is it generating actual cash flow?
Yeah. Is it in the black yet? Because it's been in the red for like ever since it's been out.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like a lot of these stuff. I mean, honestly, $44 billion for Twitter is wild. Yeah. For a company that does not make $44 billion worth of money.
How does it make money? I've never sent money into Twitter ever.
Yeah, but then the other thing too is you're looking at a lot of people are paying for data nowadays. Data is worth money. Like that's what it is.
I went to school to learn about how to take your data and protect it.
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna tell people like this right now. We say this all the time. When you get on a free app, it's not free. You're paying with your data. When people be like, oh, if they started making people pay for Twitter, you already pay for Twitter. They know, they have your data. You're tweeting, you're giving information. Advertisers want this information. And look, we all do it. I'm on a whole bunch of social media apps. I know, hey, my data gonna be out there in some way, shape, or form or fashion. With these algorithms, they can figure out a lot about a person by what they're doing on these online platforms. So your data is worth a whole lot. That's why a lot of these apps have sold for a lot of money. Not because they making money up directly, but because it's like, we're gonna make money on the back end, selling your data. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a dark place, but it's also a good place. I like certain apps. Like, I love TikTok. I'll be learning something every day.
Yeah, I know you love TikTok. I like TikTok. I like Instagram. I really like Twitter. I like a lot of things like that. It's always funny to see how somebody can develop something from nothing and make it into something. That's really like, I don't know why I put the double something sandwich on it, but I said it because this next guest that we have here, actually, wait, hold on, before I get there. Black and ugly as ever, however, I stay using down to my socks. Oh no, it's them again. It's the boys from In My Humble Opinion. I really want to get to this guest, so I'm gonna breeze through. My name is Avery, like a very nice guy, also known as Vince McMahon's as well. I meme your favorite artist. It's me. You'll see my memes everywhere. Vince McMahon's, it's me. Also, I'm at, what is it? It'll say somewhere what I am. I'm the Avery, THEE_AVERI. That's my brother, the greatest writer in the world. Yes, I know other writers don't do this to me this week. Just say it, because I love you, Devon. Just Devon.
I got you.
Yes, Devon. He's the greatest. And also, you could find us at My Humble O, In My Humble Opinion podcast. If you want to be a part of the Humble Hive, you got to like, share, and subscribe. I messed up my own segue by talking about people who make something out of nothing. This next guest, I know before when we started this podcast, I was getting notes. It was like, oh, you calling people legendary? Yeah, I was saying that in the beginning when we were in the studio. I haven't said it in a while. You know why? Because I'm waiting for people like this. This person is actually a legendary mogul in the Houston streets. He's a pillar of our community. All right. Starting Wreckshop, okay, an independent record label based in Houston, Texas, founded by our next guest. Okay. It's now number one. He's brought us artists like Fat Pat, Big Moe, E.S.G, Pymp Tyte, Big Pokey. Of course, he is also doing things like his movies. All right. He has an independent, when it comes to independent movies, also a record label consultant, a serial entrepreneur, a hustler, holic, as he says. Derrick D-Reck Dixon. Derrick D-Reck Dixon, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's an honor.
Excellent.
Excellent to have you.
How are you doing today?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. Every day I wake up, I'm good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm wonderful.
Now we want to go back. We're going to go over like all our guests, the history of our guests and everything. And you have just a strong history here in Houston, especially just a legendary status here in Houston. But as a lot of people know, I mean, you're not from Houston. You come from Beaumont, right?
Correct.
And so what brought you to Houston?
Oh man, it was right down the road, you know what I mean? So, but you know, like when you journey through in life, you know what I mean? Like I was in Atlanta before I was here, you know what I mean? So it's just been a journey. I went to school at Stephen F. Austin, played football there, and graduated from there. And then I came to Houston from there with got my first job, you know, the only job I had after college, you know what I'm saying? And I was working there, and then I was like, man, I don't want to work for nobody. And ended up going to grad school at Clark in Atlanta. So I was out there for about 7 years. And what brought me back was music and the opportunity. And I seen what was happening, you know, because I got into the music industry while I was in Atlanta. And I just took what I learned and I identified what was happening right here, which I still consider home, you know, Houston, Texas, the South, whatever, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that, and I saw the richness in the culture, man, and that brought me back to Houston, and that's when I started my label.
And the thing about it too is, you talk about like you're in grad school, you're out in Atlanta, but you're at the, I mean, this is a big time in hip hop as well. So you're seeing other group, like you're seeing Big and Puff, you're seeing like what Bad Boy's doing and all these other labels, and you see the talent that's here in Houston. Why do you think like it wasn't just happening in Houston yet? And what made you say, yo, it's got to be me. I got to come down here and I got to build this up even more than what it is right now?
Well, you know, I'm gonna be honest, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay Prince and Tony Draper and, you know, the guys that were here in Houston, you know, prior to me. You know, it wasn't happening down south at all, you know, before these guys actually broke ground and, you know what I'm saying, and really did that. So I'm thankful to them, because without them, I wouldn't even thought it was possible. So, but I still felt like I could add something. You know, like I could help, you know, push it forward. And when I identified with the whole screw movement, the culture of it, and the richness of it, I saw opportunity. You know what I mean? And I wanted. It was already. I felt like it was home. It was a part of what we were doing, and I wanted to bring my energy, man, and put it with that. And that's what was, I think, the most beautiful driving part of it, was that no one, they counted that out. Like people was like, they just gonna be good on mixtapes, or no one really took it serious. And that's from radio on down. Like right now, a lot of people, they when they think of Houston music, that's what they think of. But when we first started, man, that wasn't the case. You know, we had a hard time getting these records played. We had a hard time getting people to take us serious. And that was my motivation. My mission was to spread this culture, you know what I mean? And it was, you know, being independent. It wasn't about getting no deal, but it wasn't about nothing. It was like, man, we're gonna make the whole world, you know our lingo and want to ride slabs like us, and you know, so that was a beautiful thing. And I saw the opportunity, man, and I embraced it.
And it's like when you look at some of the artists that you had in your roster, the artists that you've worked with, and even looking back, like you were just saying, it's easy to kind of look back now and be like, oh, like that was the sound of Houston. But at the time, it took a lot they weren't necessarily playing all of these artists on the radio, and that's a push. That's a difficult thing to get them on the radio. Now it's like, oh, okay, well, Fat Pat, that was always Houston. E.S.G, yeah, that was always Houston. But it's like, yeah, the music was there, the content was there, but it wasn't always getting played media-wise. Did you always feel like the media was like behind, like 10 years or so behind y'all or something?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, man, about rap music in particular, man, the streets dictate, you know, the movements. And that was a movement. It was, you know, big before me. It's just corporate people didn't know yet. It's just everybody else didn't know. But once I saw, man, the support and the fan base that these guys had, they just didn't. The only thing they was missing was, you know, commercializing it and taking it that other step. And you know, and you know, I'm still thankful for being in Atlanta, because I learned what you know, my basics, my music industry basics came from, you know, creating a company out there. You know, it was a failure but a success, because I lost money, but I gained a lot of information. And you know, and I was like, man, hold on, man, the rest of the world don't know about this. Let me go down here and put my energy with their energy, and make sure everybody know how rich this is, because it's super rich, man. It's crazy, and it still stands right now. That's how rich it was, because it wasn't just music. It's a whole culture. It was a whole way, a whole language, a whole way people dressed, all that, you know what I mean? And if you are a creator or artistic person, and you see something, I saw a diamond in the rough.
I mean, I'm glad you got to see that diamond in the rough. Them starches, we had the polo. Nobody was rocking like us. Now, yeah. You was in Atlanta and you started a company. Sometimes you got to fail in order to make it. What company did you start when you were in Atlanta then?
Man, my first record label was called Gemini Entertainment. You know, like, shout out to my partner Tiger Graham. He, you know, because this is a long story, man. I went out there, you know, some entrepreneur stuff. I had a detail shop first while I was in grad school. and I ended up having like a fish market and some other stuff. And then I was, kind of trying to rap. So I had a studio. And then the next thing you know, my business partner came in and he's like, man, it's a guy that was in Silk. And he just got kicked out the group. His name is Tiger Delvis Graham. And then, the Graham brothers that was in Silk. And then Tiger got to a fight or, had a misunderstanding with Keith Sweat, who was over the group, and they kicked him out. That's their first cousin. So, you know what I mean? So on the outside looking in, I'm like, shit, he automatic, you know what I mean? And that's how, I got into it. It was, he came in the studio, my partner, and it sounded good. And, and I still think it was a good bet, but, timing is important. And I knew nothing at that time. And I learned a lot though, from that. And that, like you selling houses, you selling any assets, anything, you learn how to evaluate situations. And I thank God I properly evaluated that situation.
And then talk about when, like, I hear that one of the first artists that you were trying to sign was Lil KIKI.
Yeah. No, I was trying to sign KIKI and Pat at the same time, you know what I'm saying? And once again, shout out T-Tubs, shout out to, you know what I'm saying, different people that put me in contact with them, T-Skeets from the crib, I'm like right now, I don't even know how I even got to those guys because I was just, young and I was going for it. And I tracked them down and I didn't know I had plane tickets for both of them to come to Atlanta. And I didn't even know until after the fact that KIKI had already signed with Jam Down. And then Pat ended up coming on board. But, like it was just meant to be that way. Me and KIKI real tight right now. That's my dog. I seen him grow up, man. So what I feel like is a great example of, how you lead the streets and then you turn into a family man, how you learn how to keep your brand going, man. I'm so proud of him. But it was meant for me to work with Pat, at that time. And then once I saw the nuances of Pat, you know what I mean? And I knew, talent wise and all that, I'm not talking about that, but in terms of trend setting, where that lingo was coming from and who was that loud dude in the room that was kind of making everybody conform, it was Pat. You know what I mean? Like once you got around him, he was a giant, man. Once he walked in the room, Mr. Pat, glad to meet you. Hold up, boy. You know what I'm saying? He just make up words. He'll make up words on the spot. You know what I'm saying? He playing video games. And all of a sudden one night, I highs that boy. And then from that day on, anybody gets shut out, it was, you got highs. You're not house, you got highs, nigga. So Pat was just that guy, they probably got about 50 guys walking around here right now with nicknames that came from Pat because he gave you that nickname. He was that guy, man. And once I saw all that, I was like, shit, this dude. And y'all brought the similarity up, but me and him, we sat down and discussed some Biggie Puffy type shit, you know what I mean? Because he had those same traits and characteristics, that Biggie had. He big dude, you know what I'm saying? But he was fly, you know what I'm saying? And he was gonna give any little young, think he a pretty boy, run for his money on them broads, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I know that because he came to Atlanta and we was hanging out. And I was like, hold on. This big old, you know what I'm saying? Big black ass nigga, he gonna get her. No, I'm gonna get her, but no, he got her. You know what I'm saying? So,
so you like, I'm the yellow pretty nigga.
I'm not saying that, but I just was confident in my own swag. And then I didn't, so all of that, man, was a beautiful thing. And who knows, God only knows why he, didn't leave him here, to let all that out. But yeah, man, the world, everybody missed out on something very, very special with him.
And I think it's hard to encompass. Like now we're starting to see there's a DJ Screw book coming out. There was, of course, you were involved with the All Screwed Up documentary, correct? Or the All Screwed Up visual collection.
Yeah.
And it's like, how important is it now to really solidify the personalities. Like it's great when hearing you talk about Pat, because a lot of people, they might know the music, but they don't necessarily know the person and the artist and the character of these people. And now you're starting to see these books coming out, because before it's been kind of word of mouth. Everybody's known them, and now you see people like yourself and other people that were close to them that are coming out and saying like, this is who this person was, and here's stories about this person. How important is that now in solidifying their legacies?
I mean, it's super important to me, man, for multiple reasons. Number one, you know, like I'm loyal to these people, I'm loyal to their families, you know what I'm saying? And these have been sustaining relationships for me. You know, Miss Hoggins, Lil Pat, like, you know, like Mama Moe, you know, like, you know, and the ones that's still alive, like, you know, we all built something together, and none of us, you know, none of us, even some of us, we don't get our roses or we don't get the accolades that were deserved, you know, and especially those guys, because a lot of the guys that came after them achieved more financial success and got more notoriety, but it was built off of these guys, you know what I'm saying? And no, I love Slim and Paul and all of them, you know, the deal, but, you know I was there, I saw it. And, you know, these guys are the ones that created the foundation, the structure, and the whole thing. So I'm just happy right now that, you know, there's the world and corporations and other people want to take time to dig deep into the whole Screw movement, DJ Screw, all of these legendary artists that were a part of that, because that story is so unique, it's so rich. And you know, it really encompasses about, you know, 8 to 10 years of Houston music, period. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about Screw and you dig into Screw, you got to dig into Pat, you got to dig into KIKI, you got to dig into Pokey, you got to dig into so much of really Houston's music scene. You got all the way to Zero and Lil Flip, and then, you know, and then Paul Wow. I mean, it's ongoing. So a lot of people say, you know, music out here has moved on, and you got other new artists coming out and all that, but still to this day, people identify Houston culture and music with that era and with that sound. And that's because it's unique to Houston, and that's because, you know, it's DJ Screw's story, but it's Houston music scene story. They the same. So, you know, they the same. So yeah, so I'm very excited and happy that different there's a big interest in it still. It's 20 some years later, man, and people still are curious about it, and they haven't even scratched the surface of it to really know how intricate and how many amazing stories are behind each one of these artists and characters that they just heard about.
And that's one of the big things too, where it's like, as I'm going through like the DJ Screw book and you're watching these visuals and things like that, there are so many parts of the story that everybody thinks they know, but it's like you literally have no clue how much information about them is out there or is getting now put out there, and it really fleshes out them as a character. But also, like when you talk about the these are older artists, but their legacy touches all these newer artists. I mean, even artists you deal with now. I mean, we interviewed DJ EXO a few weeks ago and talked about him meeting you and that connection with Big Moe, where he was like, yo, Big Moe is like, he's like, he wanted to just get to you so he could hear more about Big Moe. Talk about you know, meeting with EXO and how important that is working with this new generation artist.
Man, like I say, the wonderful thing about God is he know better than us, and he put us in positions and places that we can't even put ourselves in. And anybody I ever worked with, it's been a blessing to me. I mean, the most fortunate thing I've had is to work with some of the best talent to come out of here. I mean, whether it's producers, whether it's, you know, and I don't take that lightly. And when I met EXO, this was, you know, this was before he, you know, had the plaques for production. This was, you know, he was already had to get off the lot, but still they had, I soon as I saw him, I knew, he embodied, that old school. He had that old school soul because his music and his whole aura about an approach to this game ain't just about him. He's always been about putting other guys on, and that's the production side. And he's been a catalyst for other artists, and that's why we built this. So, all of those things were intriguing to me. And then just him being younger and still having that respect and admiration and having enough character in him to know how to humble himself to those that came before him. I knew he was somebody I could work with. You guys, come to these kids and the younger ones or generations or those, neither. We want to give them so much, what I'm saying? We the fatherless generation that want to be the best father, but we gave birth to a generation that don't want to hear no fatherly words. So it's always hard to try to connect with these young guys because things change, the way you approach things change and all that. But him, not just him, I truly, right off the gate, him and then D-Boy. D-Boy is his manager and worked with him, and the connection was right there because I was like, this dude, he'll buy me or me. You know what I'm saying? His work ethic is crazy. And so bottom line is, I'm thankful to them because they gave me an opportunity to be able to work with these young guys and it not be frustrating and it not be hard because, you want to give and you want to help and you want to support, but it's hard to do that when they don't give and respect and listen. So those guys right there, that No Sleep Camp, D-Boy, Cantu, EXO, all of them, I enjoy working with them. I'm happy to be working with them. And I'm, trying to teach them as much as I can because they are teaching me as well. And we putting those energies together. And, I feel like that's the secret for success. You know what I'm saying? If you put knowledge, wisdom with young energy and stuff, and we can mix it all together, man, and, how can we lose? And lastly, I truly believe when he get where he's going, not only will he get where he's going, I know he's going to bring a whole lot of other artists and a whole lot of other attention to this city because of his unique talents. He DJ, he produced, and he's an artist. And he will be a platform. He will be similar to a DJ Screw very soon and a gate opener. And that's what attracted me to him.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Especially like he was just, when he was talking about just the way that he networks and markets, it was definitely it's a high level of maturity, the way that he moves. He also talked about like when he first met you, the music you were playing for Big Moe, and he's like, man, he was playing stuff that I had never even heard before. Is there ever a thought in your mind of putting together, like, do you have tracks that people haven't heard before from like Pat and Moe and all these other artists that you work with? And is there ever a thought of ever releasing that music? Working with their families and everything.
Well, there's not a lot. Like, unfortunately, man, we weren't living in the time we living in now. And it's easy to record now. We were recording on tape. When I first started, reel to reel, 2-inch reels, 1-inch reels. I seen all of that, and then go to ADATs, you know what I mean? So recording and filming, now everybody got a camera on their phone, so the worst part of all of that is that there's not a lot of content, whether it's music or, that hasn't been released. I still have stuff, you know what I mean? But I would never, jeopardize the integrity of art, you know what I mean? And these guys are, like I wouldn't put nothing out they didn't want out, you know what I mean? So, and I know Pat in particular, Moe, these guys, like, man, they were very, very serious about what we were doing. When we did Times Drop, man, Pat, we had about that, I just want to drive it, you know what I'm saying? Before Dana came with the one, for Times Drop, man, we had went through about 7-8 chicks, you know what I'm saying? I'm the business guy. And I'm like, That's it. We got it. Pat, hell no. Oh, should know. You know, until it was right. So bottom line is, you know, trying to scrap stuff together and throw something together is not you know, just to capitalize. I don't want to destroy their legacies. I feel like right now the opportunity for their legacies to still stand and their music. Now we may remix some stuff. You know what I mean? There's a DJ Screw. I'm getting ahead. I ain't really supposed to be talking about this, but there's a movie and a documentary that's coming out and soundtrack. You know, some they have projects that are getting ready to come out where we might remix some of the music and we might do some creative things with it, but it's gonna have to definitely be up to the part that I know these guys would have wanted themselves, you know, to be. So I did put some unreleased stuff out with Yella Beezy and Big Moe, you know, a couple years ago, and we gonna come back and touch that song a little bit. But yeah, man, we gonna make them live forever, man. We just gonna make sure that it's representative of the high quality guys. These guys really are artistically how they really were.
And you know, you point out one thing because I feel like that's a lot of the reason why everything is so word of mouth. Because I mean, for this new generation, I think it's hard for them to imagine that everybody didn't have a camera like back in the day. So, and you weren't like if you did have a camera, you weren't just recording for no reason. Like now, people can pull their phone out and literally just record for no reason. I see kids just go live doing nothing.
Bro, let me tell you something right now. If we would have had this shit going on at the Wreckshop, them walls could talk. And I'm talking about, man, I have 100 million followers right now. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, there's so much shit went on at the shop. There's so much shit was happening. And, you know, unfortunately, it's just stories. It wasn't documented. You know, I kicked myself in the butt because I really I knew instinctively about the camera. You know what I mean? That's why I started doing the initial documentaries, because when I realized people didn't even know who Screw, what he looked like and what Pokey looked like, you know, and I put Pat record out. The first, you know, everybody take a documentary for granted now, but nobody was doing that then, you know, and I made a documentary, a Fat Pat Ghetto Dreams documentary, because I was standing in a crowd at Chocolate Town, and I'm just on the other side of town, the north side of town, and I threw a concert, and most of the Screwed Up Click guys in there, and I always go stand in the crowd when, you know, artists perform, when I'm trying to learn, because the people gonna tell you, you know, you can hear it in the crowd, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out there listening. Well, like, nah, that's Pokey, nah, that's, I said, damn, I don't even know what these people look like. So I took the time to do those documentaries, but now I'm kicking myself in the ass because I should have just had some cameras up, just filming all of this, man. I'm talking about story after story, bro. Like, just any crazy shit you think could happen, it happened. And you know, and it's unfortunate because we don't have the footage. We don't have, you know, we wasn't recording 20 songs a night. You know, now it's right in the studio. And,
they say,
yeah. So the body of work is limited, and you know, but one thing about it, the body of work, heart, soul went into it, and that's why I still feel like, you know, you still hear the music, because it wasn't done, it wasn't just thrown together, man. A lot of love went into it. The production, it was different. We had a lot of live instruments, man. I done seen Double D and different Salih and No D and all these other producers, man. The solos, the Harvey, they still right now, they don't just throw beats together. You know, they weren't beat makers, they were producers, and they didn't just mix the song. They mix their sounds, you know what I'm saying? A lot of artists don't do that anymore. You know, like I've seen Double D sit up and play with a drum sound or a keynote and mix that shit for a day, you know? So the richness and the love, I feel like, and the luster that went into music making during that time, mixed with the whole just beautiful culture part, man, why that music still stand, you know?
Absolutely. And then it's, you know, like you said, the stories. I mean, Donnie Houston, we're a big fan. He's been on the show a few times. We definitely saw your interview with him. And been on a few times, but the description of Fat Pat's funeral, where you compared it to Biggie, and I mean describe that, because when you hear it, it's almost unbelievable, because I'm like, I know it's like, oh, you got Biggie shutting down Bed-Stuy, but when you hear about Fat Pat, you're almost like, oh, okay, that's like, it shows you how big he was here in the city.
Yeah, man. And this was before Ghetto Dreams really was in full circulation. You know what I mean? I'm trying to remember how long after Pat's death was the record released, but it wasn't, everybody hadn't heard everything yet. This was just based off of the love these guys already had, in the streets, which is why I told you I identified when I saw that. But even when I saw it and I came down here, I hadn't felt it. And it was a lot of emotional shit going on, and I told you a lot of things were moving fast, you know what I'm saying? Because even though I'd say I was in grad school and I was doing this, I was hustling, I was in the streets too. So I caught a case and I was, like fighting, I had to go to trial, and Pat got killed maybe 2 days before my trial. So it was just a lot happening fast. I'm thinking I'm gonna be doing 15 to life, and then, no fold, no toe, no bullshit, like just stood in there, and God's blessings, in my case, it allowed me to be here, and it could have went that way, and it was one little old niche, and they didn't have this and they didn't have that, and they felt some weakness and they gave me probation, you know what I'm saying? And I walked out of the courtroom, and the next day they was playing Fat Pat song, but Tops dropped, but 2 days before that he had died. And I'm just coming back, back and forth from Atlanta, and I wasn't, this, like, the relationships I had with all these guys, I hadn't had that yet. I didn't know Screw like I knew him before he passed. I didn't know Big Hog. I didn't know Miss Luella, my heart now, Pat's mom. I didn't know them, at that time. I was working with Pat, but I didn't know a lot of people. So for me personally, it was like a shock, you know what I'm saying? And I knew how serious it was. And I think that helped shape me to know how serious this was, period, to be honest with you, because you know what I mean? So I'm going to the funeral and I see a helicopter. I see that whole Cullen dog 288 all backed up, man. And Pat, it's crazy because Pat, he was such a promoter. He would take posters and put them on the slab. He like, before they was wrapping cars, Pat put the poster on the slab. Like one time I flew in from Atlanta. I was meeting him at Tuesday night, Carol's and shit. Pat pull up the Carol, he in the slab, he got posters all around the car, and throw out a red carpet before you get out. Pat was a showman. And it was crazy because at his funeral, a lot of people had the posters on their slabs and cars, and things was, and this was overwhelming for me. And I got to walk in here, and I got the responsibility of putting this music out correctly and treating his family the way I would want somebody to treat my family. And it was overwhelming. So I'd never witnessed nothing like that. And I knew like, damn, these guys had a unique love and influence and impact on their communities. And it wasn't just about the music. People like lived through them and was living with that, man. And yeah, I wish we had that footage, because I guarantee you it would have reminded you of Biggie's funeral for sure.
Now you're talking about like the SUC, and then you follow that up where you're talking about like Paul Wall and Swisher House and everybody. And leading up to now, 2010 we had another wave, and now you've got EXO and a whole new group. How do you feel the rest of the world, the rest of the nation, the rest of the industry is perceiving Houston? Or do you feel like Houston's making a bigger headway in the industry? Do you feel like something's building up here? Or, well, really, there's not even an or. How do you feel the industry looks at Houston now, looking over the span of history that you've had with the city?
Nah, man, it's definitely a high level of energy out here. You know, I kind of not left the, you know, I kind of had quit actually being aggressive, you know, with new music and stuff, you know, and once again, you know, being a steward of this game and being somebody, you know, this is what I invest in, and this is, you know, like a livelihood deal for me. And I can tell you right now, this city is definitely trending, moving forward. There's another surge, you know, in the making right now. You know, you got the little Jeremy's, the Fast Lanes, the Kinder Man. We got a lot of shit. There's a lot going on here, and but the thing about it, what's different this time and unique about it is not just about the music coming from Houston. The whole city is going through something right now. Period. You know, there's so many little crazy variables. You know, like COVID came and we were still open. We hate to say the Republicans was right, but in a sense, look now, all of a sudden now you got everybody coming from all over the country out here and asking dumbass questions like, where is Sunday Fun Day at? Like motherfucker, the whole city is. I'm sorry, like it's Sunday Fun Day. And people come here and they looking for turkey leg hut and they looking for 5015 and it reminds me of Atlanta when I lived there. We got so all kind of energy is coming here, and we already have like a music scene movement, but I think this time it's going to be an entertainment movement, and not to compare it to Atlanta, but I feel like it's in the early stages of what's going on in Atlanta right now. Mm-hmm. And I feel even good about the platform you guys are building. I feel like all the media, I feel like this is the right time, for you to build your platform out, and get you, build your infrastructure and be prepared for it and get ahead, because, more and more competition, whether it's artists, whether it's other film creators, other podcasts, they're going to come here. I seen them go to Atlanta, you know what I mean? I see them set up shop. So, I'm glad to see, you guys and people that really understand the fabric of the culture. Let's build these platforms. That's why I support as many of them as I can. I don't want, our story to get overshadowed, because people come here from other places and we don't, then all of a sudden you don't hear about Screw no more. All you're hearing about is somebody from somewhere else, man. So I commend you guys, and that's why, I'm on here right now, and I'm support everything, for everybody that's here, man, that at least know, respect, and love, the real fabric.
And that's good. Now, when you come to talking about, what's going on in Houston and thinking about support, what made you want to make a second part to Dirty Third?
Like, first of all, man, I've had people asking me to do this for years.
I can understand. The first one was so good.
Yeah. For years, and I'm very I'm like, I didn't even put out no new music for years because I gotta believe in it. You know what I mean? I think if you're true to your art and you're true to putting out good stuff, it will protect you. I think if you just try to jump on it and do something just to do it, it won't. Mm-hmm. And when I felt like I didn't have the product, I just quit putting product out. Well, and I'm thankful for that, because a lot of artists and producers and people in this business, they destroy their legacy, or they destroy whatever great things they did, trying to get back on, or trying to be relevant, or trying to be back, where they were. And I've always resisted that. So I just kept that in my pocket. And I was moved here lately because I do feel like it's the right time. and working with some of these younger artists out here and stuff. And I look at those films like artist development films. That's how we started out, but you know, bottom line is timing, a desire, you know what I mean? The energy for it, you know, I'm up for it, you know what I mean? Cause you know, like cooking food, man, you don't just cook food. Don't get it twisted. You gotta cook to feed everybody every day. You gotta cook every day. But when you wanna prepare that meal for everybody, you gotta be in the mood for that. You don't run in the kitchen and rush that, you know what I'm saying? So we in the kitchen cooking right now, and I'm praying God show favor on it, and when I serve it to everybody that they like it, and I didn't want to do that prematurely. It's the right time right now. City moving forward, got great artists right now.
Right.
Not only I feel confident in the film, I feel super confident in the soundtrack. All these guys came out, showed up, the OGs, the young G's, all of them, and nobody came with no negative energy. And man, so the soundtrack gonna be dope. The film gonna be good. I think it can help the music scene move forward. You know, all of it falls in line with, you know, my purpose, you know what I'm saying? Because my purpose is clear. You know, I want to see Houston music, Texas music, down south, Dirty Third, like all of that. That's what I fight for. You know, that's what it's about. It ain't just about no bread, it's about that. And I feel like this can help that. And I was like, cool, let's do it right now. You know what I mean? And I partnered up with my partner, Big Moe from Seven Kings. He got his artist, him and his sister, KK. You know, I partnered up with them. They saw the vision. You know, and most of everybody out here been rocking with it, man. So now I just got to make sure they like the goddamn shit we cooking.
You gotta execute it properly, but
that's right.
Now, the other thing too is, I mean, I always say Houston's an interesting city where, I mean, you talk about the OGs, but it's, you know, Lil Kiki just dropped the album. Slim Thug just dropped the album. B King looks like he's about to come out with an album.
Definitely.
DJ XO just dropped the album. That's like 4 different generations of Houston music right there, but they are all commercially viable. Like, and I can't think of too many cities that really have that kind of thing going. What is it like to be working with artists where we're talking about, you know, you saw Bun B's performance and thing. We're talking about 40, 50 years of music, our musical talent all together just on one stage. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. Like, that concert could have been 4 hours long if he wanted it.
Yeah.
And he could have kept going. What is it like to be in a city like that? And like yourself, be like, you know, I was around Pat and Screw and all of them, but I'm still, you know, I'm still capable right now. I can still go find the XO. I can still go find these people and put them out and make sure that the public hears them.
I mean, like I said, it's a blessing. I don't take it for granted. You know, not that I ever did, but I even more so now. You know, you get older and you realize, you know, opportunities, they don't come as often as you think. So you got to seize the moment, you know, and to be a part of it, or to be in a position to be able to reach out to these guys and work with these guys and them to respect, you know, my craft and the work I've done, man. I'm like, it's an honor. I am so thankful to God, you know, for it. And that's why I take that responsibility serious, you know, and I'm thankful to be OG or big bro, you know, and it's hard to get these people to see your vision a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? You guys got a vision right now, you know, and sometimes it's hard for people to see it. So to have those relationships and those opportunities, man, I don't take it for granted. And you know, try to be the best old, they like to call you OG, OG, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, you calling me OG because you want to let me know you old, or you want to let me know you young, whatever. So, call me whatever you want, as long as you call it with respect. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool, but you know, you want to be the best OG, you know, that you can be, and it's good, man. What's crazy, I might re-release this. It was about, I don't even want to lie, maybe 5-6 years ago. I did a concert. I wasn't putting music out, but I still always just like was loving the culture, and I was trying to create a platform for the culture. And I was going to transform Wreckshop Nation, and I was going to build out this platform. And to launch it, I did a concert at the House of Blues, and it was called Salute to the Slab. And we filmed it. I promise you, man, when I re-released this, it looked like a BET production, man. And it's crazy because it's so similar to what took place at what Bun just did, which was remarkable. You know what I mean? Because it can't compare, but it's crazy because we had like, you know, 20 years of music on that stage that time. That's how much talent, and that's how rich the talent is out here. At that time, Cheddar Connect and Chosen them were the young ones. And you know what I'm saying? But Paul, Slim, Bun, Scarface, everybody ended up touching that stage that night. And it was a magic moment that night. So I was so happy and proud that Bun put that together, because I feel that way about our music. I feel like until you put all, you know, it's easy to see pieces, but when you put the whole thing together and you realize how, you know, man, just think about it. Nigga, from Scarface to Beyonce's to now the Travis Scotts and all the way down to, you know, everything that's happening now, and the Pats and the KIKI, all that, man, this ain't new. You know, it's been decades of super talent coming out of this city. And when you put them all on the stage, you're able to see that clearly. And so, no, I'm just thankful to be whatever small part I am of that. I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the relationship with these guys, because they got super talented guys out here.
Now, you talk about like back with you or Pat, you said y'all had some conversations about doing like a Puff and Biggie type thing, because y'all had that kind of demeanor. You said you talked about rapping before and kind of stepping away from it. You ever thought about picking it back up?
Man, I told you earlier, the integrity of the art got to be in order, man. And right now, I ain't got nothing for it, man. You know.
But when you were rapping though, how did you come together with Pimp C? Like, how did Cash come together then?
No, look. I feel like right now I got something now, but I ain't got nothing they want. You know what I'm saying? I get in there freestyle there right now.
Because I like Cash.
Man, I feel like I'm being real, man. What I am gonna do one day is put all my little verses together and put them out. And put them out, because you know they don't like talking about that. And I'm gonna let it be known.
You held your own.
Yeah, and some of the hooks and some of the songs I wrote, you know what I'm saying? Like I wrote Power Up hook, I wrote verses, Barbie, I wrote a lot of stuff with Mo, you know.
You wrote the hook to Power Up?
Yes, sir.
Bro.
Yeah, I wrote that.
1, 2, Ready or Not, like all of that?
I wrote that.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I wrote me and No Dollar. I mean, now don't get it twisted, because man, I would not in the kind of, we all collectively touched everything. That's what's good about the Wreckshop family. But yeah, one of the verses on Boy Baby, you know, like just it's a lot, you know, and that's because I love being creative, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I like writing scripts. Well, Dirty Third, you know, the films and the direction and stuff, man. And you know, so yeah, but in terms of me rapping right now, nah, man, not at the moment, you know.
What happens if one of these young whippersnappers comes with that bread and he's like, I need a verse?
I'm being real, man. I have to really feel like I got something to offer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to wear wear the suit God got me in the right way. You know what I mean? And right now, you know, that's for somebody else. You know, that's how I feel anyway. Now, when they create a new market for 50-plus-year-old niggas rapping, you know, which could happen.
It's gonna happen. It's definitely
I'm,
gonna happen.
I'm kind of waiting on one nigga to come out and be one cat come out and be like, I'm the 50.
We got Jay-Z. That's it so far.
You feel me? And that could happen because you know we the original rap babies and we ain't going nowhere. We're gonna be 80 still listening to. If a market come open for it, I'm jumping in. But right now ain't no market for it. And you know, I got a lot of other things I want to try to accomplish.
That's real. That's real. Where can they find you at?
Rec Real, RECKREAL at Rec Real. That's on my Instagram. My Facebook is Derrick D-Reck Dixon. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a every now and then post, just letting y'all know, but you know, I post with passion and a purpose. So, you know, check me out, follow me. I got some things you know, that I'm trying to accomplish and do, and I need support, man. So come follow me at Rec Real. Yeah, that's where you find me at.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much for actually, you know, coming or really staying in early. You know, you just got on the Zoom with us. I really want to thank you for joining us at In My Humble Opinion podcast. It's always good to be able to see a familiar face and check in. Once again, people, I am Avery, like a very nice guy. That's my brother, Jess Devon, ladies and gentlemen. We've had the Houston legend, yes, legend, D-Reck with us. Humbly yours.
Well, man, look here, just know this, man. Now I'm y'all brother too, and I'll come back on here anytime, man. I enjoyed it. I really like the platform. I do a lot of different podcasts and stuff, you know, like shows and stuff, man. But you guys made it very easy. You guys great at what you're doing. I want to support y'all, man. So I appreciate y'all having me here.
I super appreciate you. So, hey, humbly yours, y'all. H-Town is too sweet. H-Town is too sweet.